Hello, everybody. This week, the inspiration 11 minutes or so for the Canadian Association of Bioenergetic Wellness is about having confidence in your skills and just setting a timer here to make sure I don't yak your ear off too much. Great. All right. So, how many here have felt a lack of confidence, not sure that what you're doing is right or if you're doing it well enough? So I really encourage everybody to take a moment to value what your gifts are and what you're sharing to the world. So a little bit about my story is I walked into a chiropractor's office many moons ago and I had had recurring headaches for many months and I just wanted to get out of this pain. And his assistant did this thing about pushing on my arm, and sometimes it would lock and sometimes it wouldn't, and I had no idea what the heck was going on. And the doctor then saw me and said, you know what, all these things are related. And he did one chiropractic adjustment, and then he tested all those muscles that were previously kind of loosey goosey, floppy, like cooked spaghetti, and every one of them locked. And I was so amazed. I could feel this in my body, and I immediately thought to myself, this is what I want to do when I grow up. So I got into this field purely, it was selfish. I wanted to see other people's eyeballs go, what happened? And I wanted to help my friends and families because I saw so many people around me were struggling with everyday types of things that don't need surgery, but they're nagging you and they're preventing you from being really productive and really living your life with ease. So I wanted to figure out how to do this, but I wasn't going to go to school or college to at this point in my life and where I was living. And one day after I moved, I was walking by a bulletin board in a public space and I saw a note, learn how to do muscle testing. And I went, yes, you mean I don't have to be a doctor to learn this? And I got myself into a class. And in class, it was really easy to practice with all my the other students there because we'd all heard the teacher, we all knew what to do, and we were helping each other out. But then when you go home and you try this on your friends and loved ones, they look at you like, "Are you sure you know what you're doing?" And frankly, my very first attempt was a disaster, a complete disaster. My friend was heartbroken because she really wanted what I said I could help her with, alleviate something or just give her some more energy or release some strain about, some emotional stuff, baggage she was carrying in her body. And it didn't work. It was a complete failure. So I knew though, because I had experienced this, I knew it could work. So even though I was embarrassed, I continued. And I just took little chunks and did a little bit at a time and built up my confidence. And one day I heard a friend had been to the hospital to have bowel resectioning surgery. And I went, aha! Finally, somebody who will probably notice the effect of what I'm offering here. Because up to now, I've been working with people who are, functioning in life and no particular pain or no perceived limitations, and nothing they wanted to share was an issue or challenge in their life, and they weren't noticing much difference, and neither was I. But I was just roping them in saying, I've got to practice before I go to my next class. So some friends were very kind and allowed me to practice with them, but they weren't really noticing anything. But I also was missing a few secret ingredients when I was first starting out. So let me get on to Chris. Chris finally shows up, and I knew enough that she might be too weak and tired to work on because she'd been whacked for a couple of weeks and recently discharged from hospital. And so I invited one of our mutual friends to come drive her up to my home, and I offered Touch for Health balancing techniques to her, and it worked brilliantly. So 8 of her muscles were not working properly, and I helped to activate some reflexes with her, and every muscle switched on, and she had that eyeball popping moment. It was like, yes, this is working, terrific. So then what ends up happening is when somebody is really not able to be able to hold their arm and their legs in all these positions, you can ask a friend to just touch them on the shoulder or touch them somewhere, and you can then test the friend. I know it sounds a little bit outlandish, but you can do that because the electricity flows in our body is much like the electricity flows in your house. So if somebody's got the butter knife and the electrical socket, if you grab onto them, the shock's going to pass through to you. And this is what my brother tells me, my mother tells me. So I know that part of physics is true. And when you read about that, and the body's electrical, it's very subtle and you won't feel a shock, but there's still that flow. So I'm doing my best to help my friend Chris. And I felt like a failure because I could only find one muscle to unlock. And I could only find one reflex to activate to wake it up. And after all the work, and I knew she was exhausted, just getting to my house, which was only 5 minute drive, not even a 5 minute drive away, getting in and out of the car and coming and sitting in my kitchen was so much. And I sent her out of my home apologizing. I'm so sorry. I don't know why it didn't work. I didn't feel like I could do anything for you, and go home and rest. And, you know, I'm sorry. I really felt I'd done something wrong. And this is a story I share with all my level 1 Touch for Health students because this is what changed my life. Is 3 days later, I'm at the school dropping off my kids, and Chris was at school dropping off her kids and hadn't been there for, several weeks. And she comes storming across the parking lot and the playground, and she looks at me nose to nose and she says, "What the heck did you do?" And I was so, I had no confidence. I thought I'd done something wrong. "What did I do to you?" I says, "I'm sorry, what happened?" And she says, "What did you do to me?" Now, everybody, all the mothers on the playground are going, "What's going on over there?" Because that, Mrs. Cambiotti, she does some of that weird stuff. And so what did she do? So everybody gathers around. And I said, "What happened?" And she says, "What did you do?" And I went, I did a system called Touch for Health, and it helps to switch on your muscles. It helps to wake up the electrical circuits in your body. But I says, I don't know what I did. All I did is I worked on one muscle. It was the latissimus dorsi, which connects to your spleen meridian. And, um, I don't know what happened. Tell me. And she says, "Well, I went home and I had a sleep. And I got up the next morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I carried on through my day, and I went to bed at night at 10 o'clock, and I did it again the next day. What did you do?" And I'm going, "So what?" She says, "You don't understand. Before I came to see you, I was sleeping 16 hours a day. And the other hours I was awake, I was good for nothing. I was flopped out on the couch just saying hi as the kids were coming in from school and bye as they were going off to one of their activities. I couldn't function. So what did you do?" And I'm going, "I don't know. All I know is I just tried to help and reset the energy circuits of your body." And she says, "Well, it really made a big difference." And so this was a pivotal moment in my life where I went, wow, um, I was stuck. I'd only had one level, one class, one 2 day workshop, and I had this miracle happen for me. And it inspired me to go get to level 2, 3, 4, connect with other colleagues who dragged me down the rabbit hole. I learned many other modalities. I've now sat more than 2,600 hours in the classroom and countless hours in my clinic, having the joy of watching things happen for people, even if it is one tiny little thing. I now know and trust that that's what they need to get them through whatever it is, the hiccup and challenge that they have in their life. And I like to share that to anyone who's beginning, who's not sure, not confident, really thinks they're doing everything wrong. I mean, I don't think on my first couple of sessions I could have done anything more wrong, except I did believe it could help, and I persisted and I asked for help and support and make sure I was, things I wasn't sure about. I went and asked, how do I do this better? So there you have it. That's why I'm on this live today, is to encourage you that whatever your gift is, even if it's not in bioenergetic wellness, whatever your gift is, and even if you don't think you're very good at it, please share and share from your heart. And so this is why I'm posting for the Canadian Association of Bioenergetic Wellness. Please follow their page. Sign up for their newsletters. There's lots of good, juicy information being shared nowadays online that can help you have greater vitality and less pain. And I'm Denise Cambiotti with Muscle Tuners International. And we invite everybody to be strong, be confident, and be tuned. You got any questions? Post them on this page. And if you're watching this on a replay, please can you make a comment? We'll get back to you just to say, keep up the good work. Great. Go be well. And if you can't be great, be awesome.